our next one here is from Wim. And Wim says, I'd like to start an email business in the app niche and outdoor gear niche. The idea is to send an email to subscribers a couple of times a week with hot deals in these niches. I only see one obstacle, the workload to gather the information to put in the newsletter and get the email out. I do not see any solution to automate this. You'll probably suggest to outsource some of the workload, but I want to stay on top of everything. So I don't, where are we? So I don't know how this will work out. Okay. Now, I don't recommend outsourcing much to entrepreneurs anymore because, how do I put this? We suck at being managers. We are terrible, terrible managers. One of the reasons that we want to create our own business is we don't like being told what to do. So if we don't like to be managed, how can we actually be good managers? Now, this is something that we tackle big style in Achiever Formula, and Scrum for Entrepreneurs is the sister product, if you will, to Kanban for Entrepreneurs. Kanban is all about you personally, but then a lot of these principles, which are all from Agile, the Agile software development, when you work with a team, there's a way that you can do this. Okay. However, I'm not going to answer the question that way. I'm going to suggest you do something else. And what I want you to do, and this is a really, really practical exercise, also from As It Happens Software Development, but we've been using it with our private clients and teaching entrepreneurs at our workshops, what we call user story mapping. So what I suggest you do, Wim, is look at your process from the customer's perspective, somebody who will eventually sign up to this newsletter for deals. And I must say, by the way, I pay for two, they're like $5 a month. Email, no, actually there's more. There's about 4 of them. Email newsletters that I pay for, $5-10 a month. Which I'm happy to, because they do give me inside information, and usually they pay for themselves instantly. If you're the Sizzle is an example of one here in Australia that I pay for. It's Australian information technology and net news and so on. And I've made so much, well, not made money, I've saved so much money from deals and specials that they've highlighted in there. It's been brilliant. So, anywho, point is, user story mapping. So put yourself in the position of somebody who's going to be a subscriber and take them through the experience that you want to have. Now, typically, I would do this on a whiteboard, and I'd often use Post-it notes. And what I'm doing with these Post-it notes is across the top, I am putting all the steps that they would go through, walk them through. That's why it's called user story mapping. From the user perspective, so they have to hear about you. So that's one thing. Then they have to go to, I don't know, some sort of website, right, where you explain. So they go to a website, and that website obviously has to explain to them, here's all the benefits, here's why you should sign up to this email. And you show them, so you develop up a storyline from that. Now, you need to do it, and this is where you're having the problem. You need to look at you as the content publisher. Okay, so you do another user story map for you. And so you look at, okay, well, we know, and often it's easier to work backwards. So we take the Post-it note, put it up the other end and say, email sent out. So what does each email look like? So you have to say, okay, well, what are the content areas? What are the topics? What are we going to do? So you fill in those, right? So you've got those. And then each of those Post-it notes, then you have to put down underneath those Post-it notes, you say, okay, well, if it's deals, how do I collect the deals? Now, you do it in the way, what you do is you outline this as though you are doing it, okay? Then you can look at each one of those components, each one step by step. What sites do you look at for the deals? Where do you have to check to look at the deals each day? How do you note the deals each day? How do you get the links for the deals each day? Do you see where I'm going with this? Step by step by step. And this is so much more powerful for you to do physically, to get up, use a whiteboard, use Post-it notes, use, as I have done on more than one occasion, use the mirrors in your hotel room to plan out a presentation. Use that and chunk it down into its component parts. And then you can start to ask questions, how can I do this better? And often the answer is yes, potentially outsourcing it. But then there are so many potential ways where you don't necessarily need to use outsourcing. Can you use a service like Mechanical Turk? Can you use all sorts of other things? But you won't know until you break down all the processes. So use user story mapping as a guide for doing this. And it's something that we do in, if you ever come along to a workshop that John and I run, this is something we do often because it's so powerful. And the trick is, at the moment, Wim, for you, it's all in your head. You need to get it out of your head, get it onto a whiteboard. And I love the physicality of it. Don't do it as a diagram on your computer or your iPad. Physically, post-it notes on a wall or a whiteboard, step by step. Go through each of the steps and you'll find that process incredibly powerful.